In this video, I took on Pokemon Emerald version, but I didn't take it on normally because that would be way too easy. So instead, I came up with this new challenge, which is a hardcore randomizer nuzlocke. However, I can only catch Pokemon in balls which match the colors present on the Pokemon. Now that I've explained that, and hopefully everyone understands what the challenge is for this run, I've set myself a side challenge for this run. If I were to lose more than 10 Pokemon in total, I must do one of these potential forfeits. Stick around to find out whether I have to do the forfeit. For my starter Pokemon, I had to choose the Pokemon which had the most similar colors to a Pokeball, and that was Cyndaquil, which was a great start, and probably the starter that I would have picked outside of the challenge anyway. I then named Cyndaquil after a commenter on a previous video, Yutskip. This challenge proved to be more difficult than any other Pokemon challenge I have done on this channel up until this point, as in the first rival battle of the game, I lost and was forced to reset. Then, when training to retry against May, I had to reset again. And again.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But eventually I got into my groove, getting Yutskip up to level 12 and defeating May, the first of many challenges in this game. I then received my first balls of the game, which started the catching part of the challenge. And this is where I would struggle at the start of the game, because I couldn't catch any of my encounters in Pokeballs as they didn't match the colors. They didn't have that red and white on them. But in this time, up until the first gym, I did evolve Yutskip, and they would be the only Pokemon I had heading in to face Roxanne. However, Roxanne just had the Pokemon to counter my well over leveled Quilava, and I would have my 4th reset in this gym, which sent me back to the start of the game, as I am saving after every gym badge. Just so we are clear, I am not counting resets towards the forfeit challenge because otherwise it would be way too hard. I then lost to May once again on the reset, now putting me on 5. But I was determined to complete this challenge, and I once again made it all the way back to Roxanne's gym and took her Suicune down once and for all. After the gym, I got my first encounter which I could catch, which was a level 7 Togepi I caught in a Pokeball, as it has the white on the outside and red on it as well, which means that it kind of matches the ball, or it matches it enough that I can catch it. I named the Togepi Reflux after another commenter, which I'm realizing I spelt wrong. My apologies. And it doesn't get better, because soon after catching it, I lost the Togepi in my second rival battle for the game, bringing me one step closer to potentially doing that forfeit. I then went straight to Dewford, where I immediately went in to take on Brawly, in hopes that after I defeated him, I would unlock some much needed balls in the market. Instead, I was met with another reset as I lost to a Plusle. As it hadn't been long since the last gym, I sped my way back to Dewford in good time and rematched Brawly. This time, Yutskip easily took him down. I then went and checked the nearest mart, and to my disappointment, there were not great balls that I could purchase, and I got 4 encounters around Dewford Town, only having Pokeballs to catch the Pokemon. However, I got very lucky, as an Electrode was one of those encounters, and that was like the perfect Pokemon to catch in a Pokeball. I named the Electrode Blackout after a commenter, and then moved on to Slateport. Finally, in Slateport, I was able to purchase Great Balls, which would open me up to more potential encounters. Sure enough, outside of Slateport, my encounter was a Quillfish, which was perfect for the Great Ball. I caught it, named it Chaos X after another commenter, and moved on to the 3rd rival battle, where I barely won without using Yutskip the carry. When arriving in Moorville, I immediately went to the left to get my next encounter, where again, I got very lucky, and it was a Kingler, which suits the Pokeball perfectly. Again, caught it, named it Janik after a commenter, and then lost it in the first battle it was in. Great work, Bryson. It's okay, because I don't like Kingler as a Pokemon anyway. Sorry, Janik, if you're watching. I then went on to face Wallace, and in the fight, lost Blackout to his Grumpig, but Yutskip was there to carry us through the rest of the gym battle. After leaving Moorville, it was once again encounter time, where I ran into a Sharpedo, which was again another Pokemon that I could catch using a Great Ball, and a good Pokemon at that. But the game didn't want to give me such a good Pokemon without Karma, and almost in the battle after catching Epicos, Chaos X was taken down by an exploding Regirock. I'm just glad that I didn't switch into Yutskip there, because that would have made things very difficult. Soon after this battle, as Yutskip had been carrying me as hard as it was ready to evolve, and now I had a team of a Typhlosion and a Sharpedo. Not too bad if you ask me. In the routes until Falabor, I couldn't catch any Pokemon, however. In Mount Moon, I would finally have some luck, running into a Wooper, which I thought classified well enough for a great ball. I caught the Wooper and named it Frost after my good friend Jack, who was a commenter, and is also in my last video, which you should go watch that after this one. Just a thought. However, my team was now very underleveled, except for Yutskip, the carry, as I have never played this game before and I didn't know what was coming, so I decided to spend some time trading up Epicos and Frost. While doing so, in a stroke of luck, I ran into a shiny Spearow, and, well, luckily enough, I had recently gotten Nest Balls, which have a bit of yellow on them, and because it's shiny, I think that's enough to grant catching it. So I caught the Spearow, named it Blaze Stan after another commenter, and that was just another Pokemon I now needed to train to ensure that I would avoid the forfeit. Soon after this, Blaze Stan and Frost would evolve, but like everything up until this point, Karma would have to strike, and Frost's ability would be randomized to Drought, rendering all of Frost's water types pretty much useless. I then went on and easily defeated Maxie due to this grinding, and got this egg from this thug in Falibor Town. Flannery went down first try thanks to the grinding again, and the carrying of Yutskip. We can't forget about that. I then trained some more outside of Falibor Town before heading south, where I once again easily defeated Norman. He was no problem. However, this luck that I was having would now change, and this game would become much more difficult from this point. The Thug's egg would hatch into Magby, which was perfect as it suited the Pokeball, making it usable by my own rules. I then went around the entire map to check whether I could purchase Ultra Balls from any of the marts. I was hoping to get some before moving on, as I would have a few encounters coming up. Just to my luck, I went to New Morville, and sure enough, my encounter was game-changing. It was a Zapdos, but I couldn't catch it because I don't have any Ultra Balls. Still.
Get it, come on, baby. Show me what you got. Show me what, just move. If you got no one, just move. That's all I want to see, some movement.
After crossing the water to the right of Morville, the bad luck would continue as I lost Blaze Stand to a Machamp, my shiny Furo. I made it up to the Weather Institute with none of the encounters being Pokemon that I had balls to catch. Then the luck got worse, as my cast form was randomized to a Victory Bell, which didn't suit the Pokeball, meaning, by my own rules, it was unusable.
I'm not seeing enough movement.
But finally, in Fortree City, I was able to buy Ultra Balls from the mart, and my deck of balls was now widening, as I had balls which could suit more Pokemon. In the gym, in Fortree City, I lost my Magmar, but then beat the gym. After doing so, I would go on to lose Frost to an exploding Claydol, and then losing and having to reset. But I wasn't going to give up or lose hope. I went on and caught a Kadabra and an Ultra Ball and immediately lost it after. But it's alright, because outside of Lily Cove City, I caught a Wynaut in a Great Ball, then a Gloom in the Magma Hideout, and of course lost the Gloom immediately after in the battle with Maxie. What was I thinking? Why would I want to keep a Pokemon? But then in the Aqua Hideout, I would have a static encounter where I caught a Houndoom in an Ultra Ball. Here, I also got the Master Ball, which I would use pretty much immediately, as I ran into a Miltank in the route outside of Moss Deep. You may say it is a waste of the Master Ball, but I don't think any other Pokemon really would have come close to suiting it, and let's be honest, Miltank barely does. I then spent what felt like forever once again training up my new Pokemon Wobbuffet, Houndoom, and Miltank. Once they were trained, we took down Tate and Liza first try, mostly thanks to the work of Yutskip and Miltank. After this, the game was just filled with encounters, and I caught Kef in the Deep Sea Cavern and Elekid in the route just outside of Sky Pillar, and in the process restored the balance of the ecosystem by waking Rayquaza and getting him to do the work for me. It was time for the final gym, where I lost my Wobbuffet to a whale, which was the 9th loss now, and I was one fainted Pokemon away from one of the dreaded forfeits. Kef also became a teenager in the gym, and I defeated the leader, whose name I don't know, pretty much only using Miltank. I then painfully made my way through Victory Road, and before heading in to fight the Elite Four, you know what time it is. Anyway, after I had gotten all my Pokemon up to level 50, I went in to take on the Elite Four. But remember, if I even lose one Pokemon in this final challenge for the game, I would need to face the forfeit. On the right, it shows what healing items I scoured across the many marts of the region to have for each Pokemon so that their colors would match. Each of my Pokemon were helpful at this point. Even though I had 3 fire types on my team, I was able to counter anything the Elite Four could throw at me. I took down Sydney, then Phoebe, Glacier, and finally Drake, all without losing a Pokemon. I was going to do it. I was going to make it through the whole challenge without losing 10 Pokemon, and I wasn't going to have to do a forfeit today, but it's never that easy, especially not for me. I went into battle with Wallace with full confidence, but then he took down my Miltank, my Electabuzz, Kef, and Houndoom. All I had left was Yotskip, my final hope. The Pokemon I had through the entire challenge. Yotskip took down Togepi, Farfetch'd, and Cascoon. Things were looking up, but then Wallace sent in Altaria and took down Yotskip the carry. I had to reset and do all of that grinding I just did once again. Once I finally got back to facing Wallace, I was ready. I knew exactly what Pokemon he had and what I could do against them. I could just fly with Kef to take down the Salamence, right? No. Wrong. Wallace's Salamence took down Kef from half HP. However, Electabuzz was able to take it down, and then Electabuzz took down the Altaria. It had just taken down Wallace's 2 strongest Pokemon. Miltank was the perfect match for the Togepi, and Electabuzz came back in to take down the Farfetch'd easily. Wallace brings in the Cascoon, and I brought out Yotskip, the carry. It was all over for him. Yotskip was how this challenge started, and how the challenge ended. Taking down Wallace's last 2 Pokemon and completing this challenge. But it's not over yet. I lost 2 Pokemon in the Elite Four and Champion, Houndoom and Kef, meaning that I'd lost 11 Pokemon, which is more than 10, believe it or not. And so, I must face the forfeit.
It's ground extra hot, is what it says. At the bottom there. Should be fun.
Holy crap. It does not smell good, guys. It does not smell good.
Alright, I think that's enough. 2, 1.
And on that fun note, thank you guys for watching. Go ahead, leave a like and subscribe. And pray for me. You can see a little bit more of my reaction here.
That's horrible. Oh my god, it actually burns. It's like covered in the roof of my mouth. Oh. You see how like red my lips are because of how goddamn hot that was. That was actually, it was horrible. That was worse than I've got a lisp. I've got a lisp. Bro, what is that? No, that was worse than any of the forfeits in the forfeit video.